always wanted to leave my hometown. So why am I painting it now? Brno is the city where I was born, but for most of my life, I never felt the urge to paint it. This is really about what changed between me and Brno. What surprises me now is that only after I left Brno, lived away for a long time and came back, I finally felt like painting it. And I loved it. When I was a high school student and later in my first jobs, I developed a feeling about Brno that stayed with me for many years. It was not so much the city itself, it was more the reality connected with it. I grew up before the Iron Curtain fell, in a world of limitations and restrictions. I felt trapped, bored, and uninspired, living mostly in my inner world and dreaming about the world outside. And that outside world was not around me, it was somewhere else. For me, Brno became connected with that feeling. It was the place where I studied, worked, ate, slept, and dreamed of being somewhere else. I learned as much English as I could because I wanted to connect with the world outside. I wanted to be an artist and filmmaker, and I believed I could become that only in the free world. Here instead, I became an English tutor. Then freedom came, and I could finally study at university, and with that came traveling out of Brno. At last I could see the world outside, live there temporarily and come back. But Brno still felt like a place in between. It was still connected in my mind with those older years, and even after 1989, that feeling did not disappear quickly. I lived in Germany and Greece, traveled through Europe, and each time I came back, Brno was still the place life pulled me back to. At some point, I accepted that Brno would probably be the place where I lived. I even started warming up to it a little. And then California happened. I visited California, decided to study there, stayed, and thought, this is it. This is my new home. And that was truly new world for me. Multicultural, open, different. It changed me deeply. And then life did what life does. And I moved back to Brno. During my Californian years, I visited Brno twice. And both times I felt like a tourist. I was so detached from my old life here that I could suddenly see the city with different eyes. I noticed beautiful things I had never really seen before, or maybe even allowed myself to see. That was exciting. So when I finally returned, that excitement was still there. The grey image of Brno from my young years was still somewhere in my memory, but the emotion connected with it had faded. Now I walk through places and think, this is where I used to walk to school or to work. I know the city so well, but it feels completely different. I am different. The city feels different. And even after 2 years of being back, I still sometimes feel more like a visitor than someone who never left. I think that is why painting Brno became possible only now. Before, I didn't really want to look at it in that way. It was too tied to older feelings, to limitations, to restlessness, to always wanting to be somewhere else. But once I got rid of that emotional block, I could suddenly see Brno differently. Not as the place that held me back, but as a city with its own atmosphere, beauty, and character. I started noticing things I used to admire in other European cities: the open air cafes, people strolling through old streets, parks with flowers, that peaceful feeling in the center. I used to envy that atmosphere in other places, and now I could feel it here too. That was new, and it meant a lot. The actual reason why I decided to paint Brno was simple. I needed urban scenes, and one day I thought, why not Brno? My first painting was of a historical street, Dominikanska. I had taken the photo in the first months after my return, and I used my grandfather's palette for the first time. I loved the result. It made me think I should do more. I also liked the idea that local people might enjoy my art and maybe even want to buy it because they know these places in their own way. So I painted Brno again. The second painting was the same historical street from a different angle. I chose it because it is right next to my favorite vegetarian place. That may sound like a small thing, but that is part of it too. I have new feelings about that street now because I have new experiences there. Both paintings of the historical center of Brno feel to me like a reflection of my new relationship to the city. But Brno for me now is not only its historical center. After living for years near the Californian desert, I also fell in love again with Central European nature and the seasons. That brought 3 paintings of the forest near my home in Brno. I walk there often with my dog, and those walks became part of this new way of being here too. I also feel drawn to places in Brno that I have not visited since my youth, just to see what they feel like now. And I want to explore other village-like waters I have heard about but never really knew. That feels especially interesting to me because I love ordinary places that are often overlooked but full of real life. And they are exactly the kind of places where I want to bring out beauty through color. So, if I want to show Brno now, I don't want to show only the tourist Brno. Of course, there are iconic places: the cathedral, the castle, the dam, the center, and I do love those. But what moves me more is now that Brno feels different as a whole. For the first time, I can really see that it is as picturesque and photogenic as other European cities I admired in the past. It has that welcoming atmosphere of open cafes, walking through old streets, parks with flowers, and a peaceful downtown that I used to notice abroad much sooner than at home. What I longed for somewhere else, I can now feel here too. What matters to me most now is that Brno has a relaxed atmosphere for a city of this size, beautiful architecture and nature all around it. Forests, hills, walks, open spaces. So my Brno is not just a famous monument. My Brno is also the forest near my home, the view from the hill where I live, cabbage market, a historical street I suddenly wanted to paint, a walk by the river, and all those ordinary places that no longer feel closed and grey to me. They feel open and colorful now, and alive. The fact that I painted Brno and want to paint more of it feels like a proof that something between me and the city has changed. I changed. The city changed too. What once felt tied to limitations no longer has that power over me. Now, my old history with Brno lives mostly in memory. And in the present, I can finally meet it differently. Not as the place I needed to escape from, but as a place I can look at with curiosity, affection, and freedom. That does not mean the past disappears. It just means it no longer decides everything. And maybe that is why I can paint Brno now. Not because it suddenly became a different city overnight, but because my relationship to it changed. Changed enough for me to finally see it. And I'm curious what else is still waiting for me here